right. We're here and we're ready to begin. Let's do it. I see the Trina boy is already here. Anyone else that's in chat, say hi, everyone. We'll be beginning shortly. Trina boy, how's it going? Actually, now that we're starting even later, it's even later for you. Like the middle of the night. What time is it over there? Nice. Enjoy that cold one, Trina boy. I'm pretty good. I'm actually not completely healthy yet. Still a little bit. 2 a.m. Oh my god. All right. So thank you for showing up at 2 a.m. for my show. I didn't realize it was that late. I thought it was late, but I thought it was like midnight. Oh my god. Okay. Well, I mean, thank you, man. Still the weekend for you. Yeah, for me, the weekend is winding down. Doing these shows on Saturday nights, man, it's a little bit difficult because I'm high on adrenaline whenever it ends. The Saturday night shows, and then Sunday morning is a new week already, a working day for me. So I need to get up quite early, start working. It's a good thing I'm still working from home, but it's still a working day. Shvizut Yom Aleph, exactly. For many years, I didn't have that. I didn't have Shvizut Yom Aleph. I didn't have the what Americans and English speakers would call the Monday blues. I didn't have that because I was freelancing. I was doing things whenever I wanted. I could work, could work during the weekends and then rest on Sundays and Mondays or whatever. So I just worked whenever I wanted, and actually most of my work was in the evenings for a while. But now, yeah, work every morning. Start working at 7 a.m. Yeah, it's a thing. Hey, where'd the bot go? Bot has disappeared from the channel. Are you there? Let's try a command. Yep, it is here. The bot is here, just looks like it isn't here for some reason. Yeah, you are? Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. Do you get up late in the morning? Are you a late riser? Morning. Do you just not get up in the morning? When's the last time you saw a morning? When's the last time you even experienced a morning? Perfect. 10 a.m. is early for you. 10 a.m. is still morning. Anything before noon. You see the mornings. Oh, you see the sun. You see the sunrise. Do you see the sunrise often? Hey Matt. Hey, nice to see you. 5 to 7 a.m. is when you go to. So yeah, you see the sunrise quite often then. Wow, nice. All right. So I think let's begin. Let's talk a little bit about what we're going to do. The first thing I'm going to say is that I still have this nasty cough, and I'm going to be talking quite a lot probably tonight. So it's probably gonna start happening at some point during the session and then intensify a little bit. I hope it doesn't interfere too much. I really hope it goes away soon. And I have this warm cup of tea. When it's over soon enough, we'll take a small break just so I can go and refill my tea, just to make sure I have this warm tea next to me in order to help me along a little bit. I also have this candy for. Oh look, it's transparent. It gets deleted. The color disappears because of the green screen. So I have this little suckers that I can use to. Thank you, thank you for the health spell. Oh, I'll put some honey in it. Yeah, I didn't think of that today, but I do have some honey in my tea when I have a sore throat. Also a good idea. Yes, honey in my nose, right up there. I have these. I have this squeeze bottle of honey. I can just tilt my head back and just squeeze some honey right into my nose. Um. All right. So now we're ready to begin. We're gonna start our adventure now, and let's have some explanation to how it's gonna go. And anyone who joins later will explain again or not. They'll just have to get by. They'll just have to understand what we're doing on their own. And I will. Um, I hope that it's gonna be simple enough for people who join maybe in the middle. Probably it's gonna be quite simple, especially when they see how everyone uses the different options. So, Tarren's Adventures is a one-on-one adventure. There's one hero, there's one PC in this game, and you, the audience, are going to play this player character. Tarren, we'll talk a little bit about Tarren and what it's like soon. Already some decisions, some demands are being made in chat. We'll see. It's going to be some crossroads, maybe some point, and you can vote to turn left if you want to. But actually, the voting works a little bit different. We're going to test our new voting system that I implemented just today. There's a lot of things that are new today, so I expect a couple of them to not work, and then I'll have to fix them on the fly, and we'll make it work. We'll make it happen. But anyway, there's like a whole voting system, and let me show you how it works. So I'm gonna go to the actual game screen. I usually choose names. I usually choose names by going to fantasynamegenerator.com. They have generators for everything, every race, culture, demon names, names of weapons, of cities, of villages, names of stores, of groceries, like stores of like blacksmith stores, and everything you want, you can find it there. It's really a wonderful, wonderful website. I recommend you go and use it. It's completely free. And I just go and I just hit generate more and more names until I hit upon one that I like. Usually to find an actual name, I just combine a couple of other names that I like. So Tarren Hall is probably, I don't remember what I found when I used the name generator a couple of weeks ago when I wrote everything. Probably Tarren was one of the Welsh for from the knoll. Oh my lord. Well, now that you said it, it must go into the story. It must become a part of the story, mustn't it? Yeah, I think it's going to become part of the story. From the knoll. Oh, you just googled it. Fine. No, Matt. It's not police constable, and it's not the knoll, the monster. No, it's none of that. Puns are always welcome in the channel. All right, so let's talk about how the voting works. Let's go to the actual game screen. There we are. Hey, everyone. Look at Tarren Hall. This is the portrait. And for the portrait, I also want to plug in a website that I used. It's called Artbreeder. Artbreeder is amazing. Artbreeder is a website where you can just generate portraits and characters, either the whole body, as I did here for Tarren Hall, or just portraits, just the head. And you can also generate lots of other things like landscapes and other things on the website. It's amazing because Artbreeder, yes, it's spelled like this. It's a weird name. It's kind of a creepy name, but actually it makes sense because it's an artificial intelligence that breeds different pieces of artwork that people have uploaded. You can also upload your own stuff, your portraits and landscapes and characters, and then the Artbreeder uses an artificial intelligence engine to create new portraits out of the existing ones. So you can combine them. You can combine two different characters and see what their child will look like, or two portraits, or give existing portraits new characteristics, like make a portrait more like a cartoon or more like, I don't know, give it like different genes. It's really, really cool. And this is how I generated Tarren's picture seen right here. Now, at some points during the adventure, we'll talk about Tarren and his aspects soon. He's a pretty cool character. There I go, starting to cough. At some point during the game, I will ask you, what do you do? Tarren is you. When I talk about you, when I talk to you during the game, I'm talking to you as the player who makes all the decisions for Tarren. If Tarren faces a certain decision, and it is the point in the game where me as a game master, I would ask, "What do you do?" to the player. Then I ask you, "What do you do?" Just like I do in every game, in any game, and you then go into a vote. You have about 30 seconds, to make a vote, and the vote is going to be one of these four options that you see up top. Okay, here, look at the top middle of the screen, and you can choose between book, dagger, fist, and palm. The commands are exclamation mark, B, D, F, or P. Okay, so you do exclamation mark, and then you choose B, D, F, or P. Oh, we have some new joiners. So Sally, hi, you've been around for a while now. I haven't said hi yet. And hi, Sit Still Behave, who's still lurking. If you want to write something down later, feel free to do that. So the four options are book, dagger, fist, and palm, right? This is what B, D, F, and P stand for. Now, exactly, Matt is already starting to do the to practice. Make more choices, everyone. Try to make more choices. Choose the other options, or try to choose book as well. You can see what it does. There's actually like a count going up, and you can see in chat that you can see the total count of how many times each of these options were voted on. Now you need to vote just one of them. Whenever you vote just one of the options, either book, dagger, fist, or palm, and you can see the meaning of these choices right here. Book is using your knowledge, your craft, or your magic. So thinking ahead, making plans, being careful, thinking before you act is generally the vibe of the book vote. Dagger is being stealthy and deceptive. Okay, so pretty self-explanatory. If you want to do something without being seen, you want to sneak somewhere, or you want to talk to a person and deceive them, get them to do what you want, manipulate them into doing what you want them to do, this is the dagger choice. Fist is a direct approach, using brute force, assertiveness, aggressiveness, just going for what you want. It could be just hitting something or fighting, but it could just also be speaking to somebody and either intimidating them or being very direct and telling them exactly what you want to happen. So this is something that this is the Sally suggests cloak. Cloak is also cool. Yeah, it's a cool option. Maybe I'll change the name later for next week's episode. We'll see. But right now it's still going to be dagger. So that's fist, and palm is being open, honest, being actually like nice to people, be willing to cooperate, protecting others, being part of a group or a team. That's what palm means. Okay, so these will be these will mean different things in every point where you need to make a choice. It's not always going to be the same thing, and I'm not going to read out the options. I'm not going to say to go up the stairs, vote fist. And to stay here and listen, vote dagger. That's not what I'm going to do. That's not at all it. I'm just going to ask, what do you do? And you, to the best of your understanding, choose one of these four options. The winning one is going to direct me to understand what kind of action you want me to do. Now, because each one of these is quite vague, it encompasses a lot of different kinds of action, each one of these four options, you can also write down what you actually want me to do. You can vote. And in addition to your vote, you can also suggest a specific kind of action. So Sally, that's exactly what you were asking right now. You can make a suggestion, a specific suggestion. But that suggestion will only happen if your vote wins, right? So if you vote dagger, right, you do exclamation mark D, and you give a vote to dagger, then I will only... and then you make a specific suggestion. For example, you say, hide behind the table and wait for them to come into the room, right? That's what you actually want Tarren to do. You want the character to do that specific action. But then let's say book won that vote. Then you will not be able to Uh, you will not be your suggestion will not happen, right? Because you voted for dagger, you wanted to do something sneaky, and then book one, so your suggestion is not going to happen in that case. Some people are still active in chat. Yeah, you can vote, and then you can write whatever you want after the vote, or you can just do it in a separate message. It doesn't really matter. Sally, you can do it either in a separate message, or yeah. Yeah, we are using a specific system, and you're gonna see this system in just a second. It's gonna be a throwback to the fighting fantasy books that we played through the past couple of months. It's gonna be a advanced fighting fantasy. We're actually using the advanced fighting fantasy system. So this is how the voting works. It's just going to be always the same. We're going to try this system. We're going to see how it works. Yeah, so when the voting is done, whenever I say vote now, I'm going to give you about 30 or 40 seconds to vote, and then I'm going to put down this command. Res is the poll results, and then the bot is going to write in the chat window what the poll results are. In the chat window above my head right here, it doesn't show because the bot messages don't show here. So we're gonna have to watch them and read them out. And you can see that now, because all of you voted many times, then we see that the poll results are Book got 2 votes, Dagger got 1, Fizz got 1, and Palm got 3. So Palm won in this example vote that we did. And now everything is reset. So when you're gonna start again, voting again is going to start from 0 after I showed everyone the results in the chat window. Will we gather ability and specificity along the game? Yeah, we're going to talk about that, but yeah, you're going to get experience points, and you're going to be able to invest it in getting more abilities, and you're going to be able to specialize the character. Matt says we're 19. Is there a button for thinking with what's in your trousers? Honestly, I think all 4 options can be relevant for trying to think with what's in your trousers. I think all 4 of them can be relevant. Using your knowledge and your craftsmanship, being stealthy and deceptive, being direct and assertive, or being open and honest can all work for getting what you want in these kind of situations. Very good. Nice. Very good. Well done. That will turn us into zombies again. Yeah, you can always offer to suggest to seduce. You can always make a more specific suggestion. He hasn't been in for a while. Real life experiences, it doesn't stop at 19. Oh yeah, you by 19 you mean the age is 19. Yes, you are 19 years old. That's true. So let's look at the system now. This is Tarren in all his beauty. This is what he looks like right now. He might change as the game progresses and Tarren changes and grows. But right now, this is going to be the portrait that we use. This is the character sheet. This is the character sheet. Feast your eyes on Tarren's abilities and stats. So we're playing advanced fighting fantasy, which means it's going to be very familiar to anyone who played through the sorcery game books, the Crown of Kings adventure, and maybe also the Warlock of Firetrap Mountain before, because it's an expanded version of that system intended more for freeform roleplay, freestyle roleplay, like any role-playing game, any tabletop role-playing game. It's actually surprisingly recent. Less than 10 years ago, this edition came out, the 2nd edition of Advanced Fighting Fantasy. And the way that it works is that you have 4 stats. These 4 stats are right here. Your skill, your stamina, your luck, and your magic. So skill, stamina, and luck are familiar to you because you played along with the Fighting Fantasy game books. Matt has gone into a whole plan for seduction. So these are the stats. Skill is how generally skilled you are as an adventurer. So that's both your fighting skill, your skill in all of these special skills that you use, except for some magic-related skills that use the magic stats. So whenever you want to jump, swim, convince people, lie to someone, hide, sneak, pick a lock, that's all going to be skill, as well as punching people, avoiding their blows, avoiding a trap, or I don't know, wrestling. So that's all going to be dependent on your skill stat. Stamina is your life. When it runs out, you are down and out. And because you're alone, you're not part of a party, getting to 0 stamina is going to be very dangerous. Yes, it is based on the sorcery game books. It is based on fighting fantasy. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think there is a following. This system does have a following. Not a lot, not a lot, but some people do use this system and play it. And actually, they're still bringing out. They're still putting out books. There's in 2020. Already in 2021. There's already been 2 expansions, like 2 companion books out with more monsters and character options. Like they're still writing books for it. It's very cool. It's a pretty active system. That actually publishes more books, like in the present as we speak. There's more books being written and put out. So your luck is like your luck in the sorcery game books, which means that you will be able to use it to either hit harder or get hit less hard during a fight, or you use it whenever you need to avoid something. It's basically like all of the different saving throws in Dungeons and Dragons, right? When you need to roll a saving throw, there's something that happens to you, something from the outside is coming to damage you. Anything but a regular attack, an attack you avoid by using your skill, and you fight against the enemy with your skill. But if it's a trap, it's a rolling boulder down a tight corridor, it's an enemy's spell being cast on you, or it's somebody, I don't know, following you in the street and you don't even know where they are. You don't even know that they're there. So you're going to use luck for all of these rolls. And like in the basic fighting fantasy rules, when you use your luck, it runs out slowly. It goes down. So right now it's 11, which is quite high. And for every luck check that you make, luck is slowly going to go down. And then it only replenishes between adventures when you rest, like for a night, or you rest for a while. So during an adventure, the luck is gradually going to go down. All right, magic is a new stat, which is your use of magic. As you can see, Tarren has a value of 2 in his magic stat, which means he can do a little bit of magic. He has a couple of cantrips. Cantrips are very simple spells, very easy to cast. And when you cast your spells, you decide what you want to do with them. You decide what the target is, what exactly you want to achieve, and then you roll against your magic plus your magic, your minor magic special skill. And then if you hit it, then your cantrip takes effect. Magic points is a general measure of how much magic you can do per day. It also replenishes when you go to sleep. And then when you cast a cantrip, if you succeed the roll, the cantrip takes effect and you don't waste any magic points. If you miss the roll, if you fail to cast a cantrip, then your magic points go down. So you only use magic points when you fail to cast a cantrip. All right, let's talk about the cantrips that we have here. Hold and noise are the 3 cantrips we start with. If you want to get more, then later on you can increase your minor magic skill, your special skill in minor magic. Here lets you hear distant conversations. If you can see anything going on, but it's too far to hear, then you can cast the hear cantrip, and then you can hear the conversation going on. As long as you can see it with your eyes, then the hear cantrip can work to let you listen in from afar. Hold stick something to something else for a while, like a very powerful glue. Okay, so you can stick somebody's boots to the ground and they won't be able to move, or at least the boots won't be able to disconnect from the ground. It works for just a short while, just a minute or so, right? So it's a very short duration spell, but it sticks something together. You can stick, the example in the book is sticking somebody's pants to the saddle so they can't get off the horse, or sticking the sword to the scabbard so somebody won't be able to draw their sword if you use the hold cantrip and you stick the sword to their scabbard. The noise cantrip makes a noise appear from a few meters away, so you can use it to distract, or you can use it to make people think that you're coming in from a different direction, generally to deceive others and stay hidden, or do surprise people from an unexpected angle, if you want to use that cantrip for that. You only have 1 dagger. That's the only weapon you start with that does a pretty small amount of damage. And these are your special skills. So common speech is your native language. World Lore 2, Oriad Lore at 1. Oriad is the capital city where you're located. We're going to talk about this skill in a second, about this city in a second, but the Oriad Lore skill is knowing things specifically about the capital, the big dirty capital city of Oriad. Religion Lore 1, Awareness 2 is noticing and picking up things around you. Climb Locks is picking locks and dealing with locks in general. Sleight of Hand, doing little dexterous things with your hands, especially hiding and swiping little objects. Sneaking, Trap Knowledge. Brawling, Thrown. Thrown is like thrown weapons, throwing weapons at people. Con and Minor Magic. Con is lying to people, what's called deception in other systems like Dungeons and Dragons. So your highest skills are awareness, sneaking, and con, because you are, after all, a petty criminal. That's basically the things that you're best at. Okay, so the more you have in the skill, the more you're going to be able to succeed when you're using these skills. All right, that's it. Later on, you're gonna get experience when you're done with adventures. You're gonna have more treasure. You're gonna be able to do some shopping to get better equipment, and you're gonna be able to invest your experience in getting new abilities. If you want to become generally more skilled, or increasing your special skills in a specific area and become specialized at something, picking up new skills, completely new skills, or gaining new magic. All of that is going to be possible. So basically that's it. There's a lot of stuff going on in chat while I'm talking. Knives? What? Knife Bridge Owl Flower? What is going on in chat while I was rambling? Can you name coins? Kevin, Bridget, Oscar, Florence? I don't know what's going on. Duck magic, yeah. References to Questers of Olora are always welcome as well as puns. Often references to Questers of Olora are going to be puns, so it's going to coincide. All right, so this is your equipment, pretty basic. You have a potion of luck, which you can use once. There's one, it's a one-use potion. There's one gulp in there, one good gulp. You drink it down, and your luck gets back up to its initial value. So it's gonna go back up to 11. That's it. I think there's nothing else that we need to know. Now let's talk a little bit about Oriad. Oriad is a capital city of a large kingdom, and like most large cities, it is divided into different districts. The different districts have very different looks, different kinds of people who live in them, and they are very they're very big. The city is a huge capital city of a large kingdom, and you can find the whole spectrum between the rich neighborhoods with very rich residents who have their own protection and guards guarding their homes, large homes with like estates and gardens outside of every house that line the streets, all the way down to the dirty squalor of the downtown neighborhoods where people live with much less people have much less space to live in, large families living in small rooms. Which district is the strictest? Well, you should be ashamed of yourself for that, Matt, I think. But the strictest is probably going to be where, you know, the nobles live, right? The noble born. There's no map of the city yet. I want to get to know the city alongside you. So there's going to be, this adventure today is going to be in part of the city. And this city is big enough to have a lot of adventures in. And many of Tarren's adventures, at least for the time being, are going to be in Oriad. Oriad is where Tarren was born, where Tarren lived all their life. He's a young man. He's just 19 years old. He already had some experience being a criminal who lives on the street or somewhere in a small apartment somewhere. You probably live downtown in one of the poorer neighborhoods, and you go out to do your thing every day or every night. You're a burglar, you're a thief, you're a scoundrel, and you've run into the law more than once in your life, maybe even been jailed for short periods a little bit. Well, the barns are the highest domination that are called owls. Okay. People are still naming coins in chat. Awesome. His cousin's name is Han. Han? Why Han? Han? Whose cousin's name is Han? I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So today's adventure. Let us begin. Yes, he is indeed a scoundrel. Let's begin today's adventure. Talking a little bit about the backstory that we're going to Tarren's cousin. Han looks a bit like Solo. Oh, I see. So today's adventure takes place in and around the Tower of Olora. Olora is a benevolent town wizard who used to live in at the end of Silver Alley. Silver Alley is a street in downtown Halt. Downtown Halt is there's no theme tune yet. No. Downtown Halt is one of the nice neighborhoods. It's not a rich neighborhood by any chance, but it's a mid what do you call it? Middle class. Yes, that's the word that I was looking for. A middle class neighborhood where people live their own lives. They go to work, they go back home, and Ricola. Yeah, it's sponsored definitely by Ricola. It's probably going to be used more than once during tonight's adventure. So downtown Halt it's a nice neighborhood. It's a lower middle class. People who live there live their own private lives. Nobody really minds anyone else's business. And years ago, Olora was living in a tower at the end of a street called Silver Alley. The tower is a nice tower, pretty narrow and tall, 3 stories high. And Olora was giving her services and advice on healing and fixing things around the house and doing just general useful things for the townsfolk in downtown Halt until about 15 years ago when she disappeared. So the older people who live in downtown Halt still remember her and they like her. She didn't charge a lot of money for her services, so they all kind of liked her, and she was very nice. Then she just disappeared. Nobody saw her leave. She was just in her tower, and the day after, the door was locked. She didn't answer people who came knocking. And after a few months, people just assumed something happened. Maybe she died or maybe she left, and nobody bothered her, and nobody checked the tower at all. Nobody wanted to go in. The reason nobody dared go in and check in, or maybe, see if there's valuable stuff in the place, because some people maybe just want to, loot the tower. But nobody did because, so there was no sign of anything going on inside. There was no weird smells going out. There was no noises, no lights coming in from the inside the tower. And the reason people didn't want to go in even after years passed is because it's a wizard's tower. And even though she was a town wizard, not extremely powerful, still people know that when a wizard is gone, their spells might hang behind, hang around after them. So there might be traps or weird protections, curses that might befall people who go into the tower uninvited. People are afraid of that, and slowly a myth started developing around the Tower of Olora, the wizard, and people knew and got convinced just from the stories that it's a cursed place and you must not go near it. Children run quickly when they have to pass next to it, and they wanted to and just nobody wanted to have anything to do with the tower after Olora was gone. Recently, about a month ago, a light appeared in the top floor of the tower. A mysterious light that seemed to cast some shadows moving on the one window. People notice this light quite quickly. At night, it's very visible, and people started wondering whether or not she was back. Maybe Olora went out on some kind of expedition or ventured to some other mystical plane and came back from her journey. Maybe some accident happened and she just came back. She just disappeared somewhere and materialized back again without her even realizing it. Some other outlandish stories were shared around, but people again didn't want to come in uninvited and snoop. And so, for about a month, the residents of downtown Halt have been restless, have been passing stories between each other from one resident to the other, different rumors and stories. None of them have any kind of bearing in actual reality, but all of them might be true, each of them just as much as the others. And many of them have just abandoned walking through Silver Alley completely if they can even help it. And while this is happening for the past month, a different story was starting to spread among the thieves and burglars of Oriad, to which you, Tarren Hall, belong. As soon as this new hint appeared, it became clear that it's only a matter of time before some brave fool will be found who is willing to go in and investigate, perhaps to be hailed as a hero and as a savior, or more likely to come out richer for the experience, to find something valuable that they can sell off to the highest bidder. Well, whenever that kind of thing happened, you, Tarren Hall, will not allow that brave fool to get there before you. You must be the first one to make it into the tower, to find out what's happening, and somehow use it to your advantage, which was what you decided to do. As soon as word of the tower started creeping up, people started telling stories about it, you realized that this is an opportunity, and you decided to bite, to go there, jump into whatever is happening in this tower. And we begin tonight's adventure outside of Olora's tower. The tower is round. It's made of gray stone. It's high quality masonry. The tower was built probably many decades ago and still stands, no cracks or chips in the big stone blocks that the tower is made of. Is there no music you can hear? There is some background music right now. If it's too low, tell me. I'm gonna bring the music up. I'm gonna turn the volume up a little bit. So tell me if you can't hear it at all, or if it's too low. A little too low. All right, bring it up. Yep, it's up now. Tell me again if it's too high or too low at any point. Tell me, please. You are outside of the tower. The tower is round, and now it's in a round garden that's fenced by a very not too high metallic fence with a rusted gate at one end. You just opened the gate and strode in. Nothing stopped you. It's a little bit after sundown. The sky is already dark. You waited until the street was relatively empty. You didn't want anyone to see you sneaking into the garden. Now you're in there. You're surrounded by bushes and trees. You're completely hidden from the street. Unless somebody comes in after you, nobody's going to see you now that you're in the little garden surrounding, encompassing the tower, Olora's tower. You are there, looking up at the third story. It's 3 stories. The floors are quite high. The ceilings inside must be at least 5 or 6 meters high above the floors. You look at the tower. You can see the light at the top floor. You can see an orange shimmer, a dancing shadow, shaping and changing it a little bit, making it dance against the murky window. Other than that, there's no sounds that you can hear from inside the tower. There's no more specific shapes, nothing else that you can make out in the darkness. And there is a door in the tower, one door right in front of you, a large wooden door with metal bands across it. This is time for the first vote of tonight. Let me reset just to make sure. All right. Now start voting, please, and tell me, what do you do? Sally, I apologize. I think that your vote didn't count because I reset right after you voted. So I think maybe you want to vote again. Cool. So there's one vote for book and one for palm. A few more seconds to go. Matt or anyone else who's around, you want to cast a vote again? As usual, if there's a tie, I'm going to be the tiebreaker. So make sure you really vote for what you want to happen. Yep. Okay, I think we're done with this vote. I'm going to tally the results again. It doesn't show the palm because, Sally, there's also a cooldown, unfortunately, of 30 seconds. You can't vote for the same option more than once every 30 seconds. So your second vote was too soon after the first one. But it's okay because it's only the two of you here. It's very easy for me to tally and remember who voted for what. So there is one vote for book and one vote for palm. Which means that I get to decide between these two. I get to be the tiebreaker and decide which of book or palm is going to happen. Let's use book. I think I like the option of book right now, using your knowledge skills. Now, this is how skill rolls work. When you roll anything, yeah, definitely, Sally. I agree. I hope more people join, and we'll have more people to vote and more people to create more interesting situations in the votes. But yeah, we'll get there. It's exactly. I agree with Boy. We're on our way, and we'll get there soon enough. So now, when you want to roll a skill, you check to see if you have this special skill required. Right, so you can have, for example, now, I think what you're actually looking to do is see if you know any kind of rumor about this tower, any kind of specific thing that you maybe heard recently. So yeah, I think you're using Oriad lore, exactly. You're using the Oriad lore skill, and I think that you are, when you're using that skill, I don't think the way that the game works is that when you're using all the skills, almost all the skills, they just get added on top of your current skill score, right? So your skill is 6, your Oriad lore is 1, which means that you roll against a number of 7. And the way that you roll is rolling 2 6-sided dice. Let's do it. No, I want to bring up the die roller. I just want to do this. And when you roll a 2 6-sided dice, you hope to get something that's equal or lower than the number you're rolling against, right? So your skill is 6, or your lore is 1. You want to get a 7 or below to make it in this roll. This is the way most rolls work. In combat, the rolls work a little bit differently. And now you rolled a 9, which is bad because it's a failure. You didn't get it. You didn't get the knowledge that you were looking for. What that means is that you're slowly circling the tower. You're slowly trying to look from all different angles and trying to see if there's any hint to anything that you maybe missed before. But when you go around the tower, you go to the far end of the tower. Behind it, the opposite end of the entrance, the big wooden door in the entrance of the tower, you see a little back door. There's another way to enter the tower. There's another door to go in. And that door is a little bit open. And through this door, there's a pair of eyes looking at you. Something short and squat is standing in the darkness inside the tower. There's no light shining in the little room behind this back door at all. And it's looking right at you. It sees you exactly where you are. And you hear a little yelp, a little bat. Coming from the creature's mouth, and the creature turns around and starts running into the darkness, into the tower. What do you do? Let's have a second vote. Tell me, what do you do when this creature notices you and starts running inside? All right. We have 2 votes. Let's see if anyone else wants to vote and decide what Tarren does. Otherwise, rush after them. Cool. Actually, what you chose isn't really rush after them. Rush after them is more fist, the fist option, right? So let's tally the results. There is one vote for dagger and one vote for palm. The meaning of this is that I need to choose between the two of them. Rushing after them is not dagger, unfortunately. Yeah, it's going to be more like sneaking after them. Or palm is talking, just talking openly, like Sally's suggestion. So yeah, I'm gonna go with you don't know what's going on there. It might still be dangerous. So I'm gonna go with dagger. I'm gonna go with Trina Boy again. Sorry, Sally. I'm gonna choose Trina Boy's suggestion one more time. So you're trying to creep after them quickly, right? You're trying to creep after them as quickly as possible. You walk into a kitchen. There's a small, messy kitchen, very very messy, with remains of very old rotting food thrown around. Obviously, some creature, someone has been through this kitchen recently. You're trying, you run through the kitchen on your souls. You meant fist, so yeah. Next time, remember and try to. I didn't bring the options back up, so I guess it was my fault. You didn't remember exactly which one, what each one of them meant. But now you have them right in front of you. You can see all the different options. The kitchen has one other exit. There's a door leading into the tower, into another room. You look through this room. There's all the rest of the tower, of the ground floor of the tower, is one big room. There's one big room that looks like some kind of reception hall. The big door and the entrance to the tower, the main entrance, is right on the other side of this room. So if you would go if you went through this room, you would go through that tower and you would end up in this large hall. There are tracks on the floor. It's so dusty and so messy that you can clearly see the small creature you just startled and ran away from you, ran through this room to the staircase going up, a staircase next to the wall, and obviously went up the stairs. Alright, so it's not yet time for another vote, so let's reset the count again. And now that I described what's going on, I think, actually, yeah, it is time for another vote. Actually, come to think of it, it is time for another vote. So let's give you a little bit more description though of this reception hall. There is a long table next to one of the walls with lots of chairs and stools next to it, and there is a high chair and a high table right next to it. That obviously was used to receive guests, clients, and respected guests in the tower. But something has quite recently been through this room, and the wall hangings have been torn down and soiled. Many of the stools and furniture, the long table, some tables and some chairs have been, some of the furniture has been broken apart, and they lie in pieces on the ground. Something has just ruined a lot of the furniture and the stuff, the decorations in this room. Okay, so now let's open up to a vote. Right now, there's only one vote from Trina Boy. Sally, you might want to do your vote again. Because I reset before, so write down your vote one more time, and anyone else who wants to vote, join in and make your choice right now. Tell me, please, what do you do? All right, you voted palm. Did you mean B? Did you mean book? Book, yeah, I think you meant book. Cool. So there's 2 votes for book. Trina Boy agreed with you, so he added his vote to that. Where are we? All right, let's reset. Book wins in this case, which means that you strain your mind, you wait for a few seconds, and you try thinking what kind of what kind of danger is common in this part of the city? What kind of animal might be the one who has maybe infiltrated this tower and ruined some of the furniture, ate some of the food, and maybe now has taken camp in the top floors of the tower? So let's try again. This is going to be another roll for Olora. And this roll is again going to be the same roll from before. This is a 7, which is a success in this case. You want to roll a 7 or lower, right? Olora plus skill is 7. You roll a 7, which is good. It's a success, which means that you do know that the tracks you are watching, the tracks you're looking at, are of a bipedal creature. It's a bipedal creature who walks on 2 legs, and not an animal who walks on all 4s. And you look a little bit closer, you see that this creature is definitely none of the kinds of humanoids that you're used for. It's not soles, shoes, boots, sandals, anything like that. It's feet of a creature, but they are small, like a child's feet, and very weirdly shaped. So it's not an elf, a halfling, any of the normal races who live in this fantasy city. It's not a human. It's also not a human child. It's something else. This is what you discover from this roll. What do you do now? Let's open it up for another vote. All right, Dagger. 1 vote for Dagger. Any other votes? What do you do? All right, we have 1 vote. Giving it a few more seconds to see if anyone else wants to go. 1 vote for Fist from Trina Boy. Cool. All right. So 1 vote Dagger, 1 vote Fist. So we will close the vote now. So again, it's a tie, so I'm going to have to be the tiebreaker. Dagger Sally suggested go get some friends and lock it from the outside, or chase the dastardly creature. I think I would much rather chase the creature. If we go outside and look for friends, get friends and lock it from the outside, I think it's pretty much like ending the adventure, isn't it? It sounds like it's kind of like not playing this adventure anymore, and I kind of would prefer keeping it going for now. So I think I'm gonna go with the with Trina Boy's suggestion. Cat has arrived. Hello, cat. Please sit down and don't move the screen like you did Monday in Monday's stream. All right, good boy. All right, so the yeah, that's the option that we and act cowardly. Tarren definitely could act cowardly. Acting cowardly is definitely in character for Tarren, but in this case, actually going outside, looking for other people to come in with you, locking the tower from the outside would just take too long. It'll probably take you a few hours to do that. I wanna try to do something right now about this creature. So you run up the stairs. You get to a little corridor. There's a very short hallway that splits this floor in 2, the 2nd floor of the tower. This floor is the hallway starts from the top of the stairs and it ends in the next staircase going up to the top floor of the tower. And in the middle there's 2 doors. So in each side of the hallway there's 1 room, one to your right and one to your left. Both doors are open, and from one of them, well, let's make sure that I'm describing it correctly. Yes, there's 2 doors. There's 2 doors, and these doors are open. One of them, there's a noise coming from it. The one on the left, the one to your left, there's a noise coming from beyond the door. What do you do? Let's start a new vote. All right. Use a small. Do you mean a small stone? A small stone to attract the creature. Book again. 2 votes for book. Throw it to make a noise. So if your intention is to throw a stone in order to make a make a noise. This isn't this dagger? It's like deceiving the creature. Isn't it more like the dagger option? Whoops. Cat is moving things on the desk. I'm wondering. I'm not sure. It's like making a plan. It might be dagger. It's more like dagger, I guess. Yeah, I think it might be more like the dagger option because you're being, you know, craft. Yeah, being crafty. That's right. It is. It is. Being crafty is also part of the book option. Okay, cool. So let's tally the results, and we'll see that book one. So basically, your intention is to make a make a. Hi, Matt. Nice to see you again. Now there's 3 people, so hopefully not as many of the votes are going to end in a tie. I don't want to be the tiebreaker very often. So right now, book 1. Book means making a plan. So what you do is you stop for a second. You creep a little bit closer to the doors, and you try to listen in very closely and decide what to do. Meanwhile, you pick up a small object from the floor. There's no stones here. There's no stones because the tower itself is not ruined. It's not a ruin. But there are many pieces of furniture which have been broken from stuff probably inside these rooms and spread around the entire floor of the tower. So there's a piece of wood you can pick up and you can use it to maybe create a distraction. You go closer to the door, and then you throw the piece of wood across the hall to the other side of the door. So not through the door, not in the room, but in the hallway, just across and beyond the door, so that it makes a noise on the other side, trying to get the creatures to come out and look and maybe turn their attention away. No, there's no rock, paper, scissors. If there's a tie, I'm the tiebreaker. But now there's 3 of you, so let's ask. Actually, let's make instead of asking what you do, let's make a roll. I think it's a roll. Yeah. So you have a skill in thrown weapons. You see the skill in thrown weapons is 1. So let's make another skill roll to see how well you do. You rolled a 7 again. 7 is great. 7 means that you now succeeded in throwing the piece of wood exactly where you wanted. And you can see now 2 of these creatures jumping out of the room right in front of you in the hallway, but they're looking the other way. They have their backs turned toward you. And what that means is that you have an option to act before they do. They're short. They're completely naked. They are a reddish-brown color, and they have ears that look like fins. They look like fins, like fish fins, and their skin looks unnaturally smooth. There's no hair on it at all. What do you do? So to do fist, use the command. You see the command right here in red. Use the command. It's !F. Yes, exactly the way you did. Fist. Use lantern to blind them. F. Okay, 2 votes for fist. Kina boy. No, they don't have wings. They're not winged. 2 votes for fist. It means fist already won, pretty much. But Kina boy, you still have a few seconds to cast your vote if you want to. Cool. Use the lantern to blind them. Not bad. Matt, maybe you missed it. You can make a more specific attach wings to them. How exactly, Kina boy, do I attach wings to these creatures? How are you supposed to do that? Explain to me, please. So the theory, Sally's theory, which is which makes sense, is that these creatures are creatures of the dark. So what you want to do is you want to light the lantern real quick, light the oil, and then to use the lantern to blind them somehow. So let's see how quickly you can do that. I think you're using your sleight of hand. You want to do it as quickly as possible and without them noticing. So you pick out your flint and steel that you use to light up the oil. You pick the lantern up from where it's hanging on your belt. Cat is going away now, and yeah, you're trying to use it to light the oil as quickly as possible. Sleight of hand is 1, so again, you need a 7 or less in the roll, and you rolled a 6, which is excellent. That means that you light the lantern real quickly. There's a big whoosh of light inside, and you take the lantern and you just push it between their heads, right in front of their eyes. You just reach above them with your hand, and you just push the lantern right between them, so that they're looking right into it, and they go ah, and they turn towards you, but you can see that they're not looking straight at you. They're a little bit blinded, and when you're holding the lantern right in front of them, again, they're not going to be able to see you very, very clearly, having been in darkness for so long. So yeah, they have long snouts. They're having they have sharp teeth, and they look like kind of like devilish imps. They're obviously not a very common race that you can see in the streets of Oriad. There are some devilish races. There are races that have some demon blood inside them, demonic offspring of certain kinds of demons from hell, but no actual just like imps walking around in the streets. Let's reset the thing, and now ask, what do you do again? They're partially disabled because of the blinding light from the lantern. What do you do? All right, 1 vote for dagger from Sally. Palm, 1 vote for palm and 1 vote for fist. Okay, so it's a 3-way tie. Let's see if anyone else joined us who wants to actually cast a vote as well to break the tie, maybe. And if not, I'm gonna be the tiebreaker. All right, yeah, no more votes. So it's 1 vote dagger, 1 fist, and 1 palm. So, yeah, I'm the tiebreaker. So Sally says, I think we're a town person and should run away. You're not a town person. Definitely not a regular town folk. You are a burglar and a thief, an adventurer, a daring person who's willing to face danger. This is definitely not what you are. If you run away, then basically, again, the adventure is over. You're not going to play any more of this adventure, and you're probably not going to play any more adventures. Make sure you keep that in mind. If you suggest we run away, if you succeed, that means the night is over. Tarren goes to sleep. So that's definitely not true. Unfortunately, I want to say yes to as many suggestions as possible, but saying you're not capable of even doing the adventure is just not something that I can accept. So I will try the fist option, and that means that you are going to just attack these creatures. So they bring up their palms. You see that they end in sharp, small but very sharp claws, and you well, let's see how deadly it is, Matt, when they try to jump you and just slash at you with their sharp claws and their teeth. So now, I think that that's true. A burglar is not supposed to get into many fights. That's true. But still, I think Tarren wants to know more about what's going on in this tower. You're definitely not supposed to fight anything you meet. That is definitely true. You're not supposed to fight everything, but you can always choose to do so. So the way the fights work is that you roll your skill, and then the opponent rolls their skill, and you add your skill on top of your roll, which means that in this case you want to roll high, not low. In a fight, in a face-to-face fight, you want to roll high and not low, right? So because we learned when we played the sorcery books, you learned that we learned that you need to roll for the opponent before you roll for yourself, right? So let's roll for them first. They have 4 skill. The imps have 4 skill. They're not very skilled fighters. So the first imp rolls a 5 plus their 4 skill. It's a total of 9. They are weakened by being blinded. It's a -2 to their roll. So actually that imp rolled a 7. Rolled only a 7, that's all. And the second imp rolled a 9. A 9 plus 4 minus 2 is 11. So the first imp rolled a 7, the second imp rolled an 11, a quite high roll, but with a disabling light, it means that it still only got an 11. You are rolling and adding your skill. Stabbing with a knife is done with your brawling skill, the brawling special skill, right? So you have a total of 7. You roll and add a 7 to whatever comes up. You rolled a 7, the total is 14, which means you can stab one of them with your dagger and deal your damage. The damage is going to be a D2. That's how much damage your dagger does. Yeah, so a D2, you do 2 damage to one of the imps. The imps have 4 stamina. 4 stamina. So 2 damage means you've stabbed one of them well. It's like it's a stab in the abdomen. They're not exactly human, or they don't have humanoid bodies, so it's unclear what kind of internal organs they have that you can damage. But you still give it a good stab, and it seems like it's in pain. It screams, "Ah!" And you hear more voices in the room behind it. There's more, something else is happening in the room where the voices came out of. So it's important that you be aware of that. Next round, let's do more rolls to them. They're still blinded by the light. So let's roll for the first imp. Rolled a 10. A 10 plus 4 minus 2 is a 12. A total of 12 for the roll. Second imp rolled a 6. A total of 8. So 12 and an 8 against you. Miasma. Oh, that's actually I think that's a pretty good detail. Let's add that. Let's decide that they're filled with miasma, which leaks out now and kind of fills the air with a very powerful stink that kind of makes it harder for you to concentrate. Maybe you'll get some minuses to rolls later on, but in a fight it doesn't affect you at all. And then you roll. You roll a 7 again, which is a total of 14. So again, you hit one of the imps, and you're going to roll a d2. And you roll a 2 again, which means that you have slashed that imp down to the ground. It falls down and deflates. Yeah, it's done. This imp is over. The other one is kind of scared. It's trying to jump back into the room. Jump back with the through the door into the room where it came from. While it's trying to escape, it's just turning its profile to you and trying to jump into the room. What do you do? What do you do to the imp? Cast your votes, please. All right, one fist. Sally's making a specific suggestion. Burn it with silver. Fist count 2. Do you think that silver probably harms them because they're demonic? Let's see. Matt also. Okay, yeah, you're all for the aggressive solution. There's also a suggestion to try silver. Let's try silver. Sure. You pick out one of your silver pieces, still holding the lantern up in the air, which means you need to put your dagger back in the hilt. You pick out one of the silver coins and you throw it at the imp. Let's use your thrown skill. The imp is not attacking you back, so we're only going to attack for you, which means that in this case we're just trying to hit our we're trying to hit low again. Okay, there's no one fighting against you. So you're trying to roll low, below your skill plus thrown special skill. You rolled a 7 again, which means you won't. Did you roll anything but a 7 in this game? Almost only a 7. So yeah, you rolled a 7, and then that means that you hit it with the coin. The silver piece hits it square in the side of the head, and nothing special happens. They're not susceptible to silver, apparently. So the coin just jumps off of their skull, their head, and falls down on the wooden floor, just next to the door. Yeah, let's reset Reset. Welcome back, Matt. Let's reset the poll and ask again. The imp is gone. He just darted back into the room. There's voices there now, and the voices are excited. There's more imps going bah, 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 inside the room. You are you have the option to do something else. What do you do? Yeah, refreshing the page might work, Matt. Refreshing the page might work because if you paused for a second, or there was like a little glitch that caused a little pause in your end, it might be that refreshing the page is gonna bring you back to the shortest delay possible. Search the room. There's people in the room. You remember there's monsters in the room. Sally, make your vote. You made a suggestion, but you need to cast an actual vote. If you don't make a specific vote, burning the room? I think it's B. But Dagger... So Dagger... Okay, so Dagger might be also throwing your lantern in. Okay. B. Oh. You did both D and B? Alright, so, yeah, let's tally the results, although there was some, B. B, I meant B is what, Trina Boy voted, I think, right? I don't know, I might have misspoken. So, book 1, and Trina Boy's suggestion was searching the room. I don't think it makes a lot of sense, searching the room in this case, so that's not what you're going to do. You're going to try to say, you're going to try to do something a little bit different. Yeah, Sally wants to burn the room, so I'm just going to go with this suggestion. You just throw the lantern in the room, and you let the lantern shatter on the floor and start creating a fire. Now, again, as I said, there's lots of broken down furniture covering most of the floor of this tower. Oh no, my mother's lantern. my grandfather's ancestral lantern. Now, it's just a cheap lantern. You can just buy a new one with some silver pieces. So, the lantern breaks, the oil starts spreading, and you can hear the imps going bah, 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 getting more and more scared. They were obviously waiting for you to get into the room to ambush you, but now they are the ones who are trapped because there's no other exit from the room where they're in. You peek through beyond, like through the door, now finally seeing the room for the first time. Yeah, that's exactly what they sound like. And you see that this is a library. This is Olora's library, which has been thoroughly ruined, looted, torn down, and destroyed by these imps. There's just bunches of ruined books on the ground. They tore them open, they tore the pages, and many of these books are missing. Obviously, they were taken away to someplace else. But now, whatever is left there, whatever is left behind, you have just burnt, along with these imps. The imps pop when the fire reaches them. Each one that gets too close to the fire, they start swelling and expanding until they just go poof, and the miasma spills out into the air, fills the air with a stink that is very quickly cleared by the heat and the smoke. The smoke starts filling the entire second floor. You're gonna start inhaling smoke very soon because there's no other... Bada bada boom, yes, a large bada bing bada boom. You're gonna start getting asphyxiated if you don't move ahead quickly. I don't know if it was a bad idea. I'm not sure if it was a bad idea. Can we put out the fire again? I don't know. Do you have a way to put out an entire burning library? Run down or run up? Okay, let's see. Let's do another vote. What do you do? Tell me what you do. Yeah, it might have been a good idea. You killed a bunch of these imps. You did beat the imps. The magic you have is hear, hold, and noise. Not very useful in this case. Hear, hold, and noise. Glue? I don't think so. Time to vote. Come on, let's do it. Nose Flautist votes book. Trying to use your knowledge to put out the fire. Want to use hold on the fire. Hold won't work. No, hold is on objects, not on fire. Think of a way to stop the fire. Alright, think of a way to stop the fire. 2 people wants to start to put out the fire, to try to use something to put out the fire. And there's a 3rd vote for book. So let's stop the votes and tally up the votes. Just all 3 of you vote for book. Trying to find a good idea, a way to stop the fire. You run to the other room. There's a different room on the other side. And you see that this room is a bedroom. It's where Olora slept. Some of this room is also dirty and messy because the imps have been here as well. The interlopers, the invaders have been here as well. But they aren't as interested. A bedroom of a human wizard doesn't really interest them. So it's just a bed, a bit of a messy bed. Some of the sheets are torn and shredded. And almost none of the other pieces of furniture here have been even touched by the imps. There is an interesting thing in the room above the headboard of the bed, on the wall above the bed. There's a wooden plaque, a large wooden plaque, very wide, with a sword stuck to it, hanging on a wooden plaque. There's like a nice long sword. And other than that, see you, Matt. Bye. And other than that, there's some other stuff in the room. Maybe you can use some of them in order to put out the fire. I'm not sure, though. If you have any specific ideas, you can go ahead and write them down now along with your vote. So, dear viewers, what do you do? What do you do now? A wooden plaque with a sword hanging on it, on 2 hooks, 2 metallic hooks attached to this wooden plaque. A long sword, seems to be in good condition, like sharp and nice. And there's a bed and some other furniture in a bedroom, like a writing desk, some drawers, some stuff in the room. A chamber pot, something that a human wizard will have in her room. Make your votes. What do you do? Take the sword. Voting for fist. Cool. A writing desk. That means sand. Find the sand. Sand? Well, is there going to be a lot of sand, though? Is it like a huge bucket of sand? Okay, Sally votes B in order to find something useful to put out the fire. Okay, so finding something to put out the fire. This is going to be Sally's vote, and I think both of you voted already, so I'm going to stop the vote. There's 1 vote for book, 1 for fist. I think in this situation, I want to go with Sally's suggestion. Trying to find something to put out the fire. And you do indeed find a bucket. This bucket is a bucket of water, which is used to clean the chamber pot and to fill the bath, which is right now just like a small empty wooden bath that's on the side of the one of the walls next to the chamber pot. There's a big pail of water. This water is very, very old. It hasn't been touched in a while, but it's still there. It is. I will also, because you voted B, which is using your knowledge, your senses, noticing things, using your intelligence, I will note that this water shouldn't still be in the bucket after more than 15 years after the occupant has disappeared, right? So the water should have evaporated after 15 years, right? It shouldn't still be liquid in the pail. Right, so it's a big bucket of water, and you can use it to go put out the fire, which is exactly what you're doing. You drag the pail with you. It's too heavy to lift up. It's full of water, and you drag it with you. You go out into the hallway. You cough as you start taking in the smoke. Let's roll to see how well you avoid inhaling too much smoke. It's going to be a luck roll. So it's 2d6 and try to hit 11 or below. You rolled a 4, which is great. Your luck goes down to 10. But you've avoided breathing in too much smoke to actually hurt or disable yourself. For now, you hold your breath, you go low down above the ground, and you breathe a little bit of like a cooler air closer to the floor, and then you just you bring the pail to the entrance of the library, and you just spill all the water out on the fire. By now, the fire has spread a little bit, which means that this water is not going to be enough to put out all of it all at once, but it does put out most of the fire, and you are able, after a few minutes, to stomp down the remaining embers and just, you know, throw some of the wet the wet burnt materials, the wet burnt embers that you just put out, that you quenched with the water, onto the remaining little spots of fire in the room, and you were able to save most of what remained of the room, which I will remind you is still in ruins, was in ruins from before you even started, right? So the Sorcerer's Apprentice, yeah. Nice. So wait. All right. Yep. So we're yeah, so you can now let's do a new vote to see what you do. So one suggestion is to search the room. Dagger kind of fits searching the room. Yeah, dagger kind of goes with searching the room. Sally, I see you have a suggestion, and yeah, Sally votes D again. So you are still Tarren Hall, the burglar and the thief. Oh, lantern and oil should be erased. Yeah, that's right. You've used your lantern and oil. You don't have a lantern and oil anymore. You'll have to buy new equipment. Cool. So now, oh, and a silver piece. So you can retrieve your silver piece. You threw a silver piece away, but you can retrieve it from the corridor. You can go back and pick it up from the floor. You can also pick up the sword from the bedroom. You take the sword from the hooks. There's no scabbard for the sword. There's no way to put it into a scabbard and keep it with you. You just have to hold it with your hands, or somehow, I don't know, find a way to carry it comfortably. Right now, you can just hold it. You have to hold it throughout the tower. And you see that there is a writing on the plaque. There's an engraving on the wood of the plaque itself on the wall, and the engraving says "Protector." So Protector is the name of the sword that you just picked up. Long sword named Protector. All right, this is what you have with you. Your new treasure. Wait, don't make new votes before we tallied and describe the result of the previous one. Remember, wait until I ask, what do you do? When I say, what do you do, this is when you start voting again. And then you go through the books. Most of them are ruined. Let's see if you can find something useful. For that, you're actually going to use your magic stat and your minor magic. Actually, no, it's magic lore, which you don't have. So actually rolling against 2. You're rolling against 2, which means you have almost no choice, no chance to succeed. That's interesting. Yeah, you don't have any lore, any relevant lore, and you have only 2 magic. I think probably just searching for books should still be your regular skill, right? It shouldn't be your magic stat. Magic stat is actually doing things with your magic senses. Detecting magic, maybe using magic lore. It's not trap knowledge. It's you could have said look for traps, right? You could have said look for traps, but what you said, you just wanted to search for books. Also, if there were traps, they were probably sprung by the imps long ago, right? Yeah, it's true, but still finding interesting books is going to be something that's tied to your regular skills. You're rolling against a 6. You're rolling against a 6. You don't have any special skill to go with it, but you're still rolling with your regular skill. And you rolled a 4. Excellent. Rolling a 4 means it's a success, and you find an interesting book that you think might be valuable or interesting or actually useful to somebody, maybe not to you right now. So the book is a book about interesting monsters and animals and their body parts, their different parts. So, book about monster and animal parts. So what this book explains, animal parts, animal parts. What this book does is also it explains how to identify different animal parts. Yeah, you can read. You can read your common tongue, your mother's tongue, your first language. You can read it. So your the book explains how to identify different parts of monsters and animals. You can also track them, maybe identify which animals are near by their shed skin or claws or different hair that you can see around you. And it also explains what you can do with these parts. If you were an alchemist or a wizard, somebody who can use monster parts to create magical effects, then this book would be very, very useful for you. Maybe you will learn to do this in the future, or maybe you can just sell this book away to an actual alchemist, potion maker, or a wizard to make some profit. So yeah, that's what you find. What is the next thing that you do? Let's reset the poll and ask you for ideas. What do you want to do? Selling ingredients. Yeah, that might be a good income. Selling ingredients too. Go to the top of the tower. Cool. Cool suggestion. Go upstairs. Just go upstairs, and because you voted fist, yeah, I think the fire burned away all the miasma. It drove the heat and the smoke drove away the poisonous miasma from these imps. There's none left here. All right, let's tally up the results. There's one vote for fist, and both of you want to walk up to the tower, to the top floor of the tower, because the winning vote is fist. Then the way you do this is just you confidently stride up the tower with Protector in your hand, the sword, the long sword named Protector. You just confidently stride up. I'm happy because it's booby trapped. Well, again, if there were traps in this tower, okay, never mind. You go up into the top floor of the tower. This top floor of the tower is just slightly narrower than the bottom two. It's almost the same size, and all of it is just one big space. It's one big workspace that was obviously used by Olora to do her magic research and her magical creations. In this space, you can see many different little workspaces. There's one that's obviously a craftsman table used to create regular items from wood and leather with clamps and a saw and hammer and nails and different things you can use to create different kinds of to craft different kinds of objects. Another desk is a desk. There's a desk that's obviously intended for alchemy, for combining different materials, for burning and heating them. Another, it's like a book stand. You can put a book, a large tome, open it, and then just put the stand next to your table and turn around and read it while you're working on something with your hands. So it's very it's a very useful thing. And there's many others. There's cabinets and cupboards with different bottles and containers, jars, ceramic and glass jars, wooden boxes. There's some scrolls and little booklets on some of the shelves stacked, things that are obviously useful. One thing that draws your eye is a little crystal ball that seems to be shimmering in a very faint, a faint light inside of it. But in addition to all of this, in the middle of the room is the thing that has been really drawing your attention, and that is a bonfire. A small bonfire, a fire that's burning in the middle of the room, giving off smoke. and around the fire, a bunch of these imps are sitting around, yelping, yelling, and pushing each other in an aggressive way, like in some kind of like a play between them. It's just a bunch of imps there. There's 4 of them, and one larger demon. This demon has swords instead of his hands. It's like the hands end about here, and then there's like 2 large blades, sword blades, jutting out where its palms, its hands should have been. And this demon is sitting on an upturned crate that it's now using as a seat, warming itself next to the fire and yelling and laughing at the imps. Well, there's 4 of the imps, one larger demon, and now we will start a new vote. What do you do? There's 1 vote for Palm. Negotiate, have noise spell to use alarm. To use alarm? Okay. Just turn to them and negotiate with them. Okay, that's a valid vote. That's 1 vote. Peanut Boy, you voted before I finished describing the room, so I'm not going to count your book vote right now at all. You need to vote again. Hold the big demon. Oh, use your spell to hold the big demon. Cool. That's a vote for book. Okay, so let's now... Oops. Let's resolve. Yeah, we have 1 vote for book and 1 for palm. The second vote for book was prematurely cast. Beware of voting before you have all the information. You shouldn't do that. Okay, so I'm going to go with Sally's vote, with Sally's palm vote to negotiate, to just talk. So you turn to the large demon and you introduce yourself. You say, I'm Tarren. Tina, I accept your apology. It's okay. You're the viewer. You can do whatever you want. I'm just giving you suggestions. Yeah, you introduce yourself as Tarren. You say that you're here to investigate, to just look around. You're not trying to cause any trouble. And yeah, you do it very smoothly. Like, hi, how you doing? You hope that the demon appears. The demon responds well. He looks at you. He gets up on his feet. He's a little bit taller than you are, just a little bit taller. And again, there's 2 very mean, slightly curved sword blades instead of the creature's forearms. They hang down at both sides of his hips, ready for him to lift them up and hit you with them and stab you as soon as he wants. But right now he doesn't. He looks at you and he says, I am Maganag. Why shouldn't I kill you right now? You say, I don't want any violence. I don't want any trouble at all. In fact, I'm just looking for something to maybe take with me. Maganag looks at Protector, the sword in your hand, and he seems to be wary of it. It kind of seems like as long as you're looking at, as you're holding Protector, Maganag is going to be very suspicious of you saying that you're not trying to cause any trouble. What do you do? Let's make a new vote. Cast your vote and tell me what you think you should do in this conversation or in this scene in general. Alright, Dagger, extort the demon. Oh, nice. I wonder where the basis of extortion is going to be, but I can think of maybe some ideas. Extort the demon. 1 vote for Dagger. Any more votes? Any other votes? You worried of that thing? Well, not use it for now, at least. Tell me, how can I help you? Okay, so being honest. Okay, cool. So, these are very similar votes. Let's tally the votes. Palm and Dagger. So these are very similar votes, using the sword as leverage. But Sally voted palm, which means doing it honestly, being honest about it, saying like honestly, I'm not going to use the sword against you. I just want to talk. And Trina Boy is voting dagger, which means being sneaky and deceptive, which means that you're trying to extort, to trying to maybe intimidate the demon, or trying to get it, to do what you want it to do, to force it, to manipulate it to doing what you want it to. So I am going to vote palm, just to go with a previous vote, to continue on the same note, and be honest about not wanting to use the sword. So what you do is you walk to the wall next to the entrance, right next to where you went up on the flight of stairs from below, and right next to the stairs on the wall, you put Protector and you lean Protector against the wall so that the hilt is still very close to your hand, and you stand next to where Protector is leaning on the wall. You just you don't hold it anymore. You take a step away from Protector, one step away, and then you turn to Maganag and you say, "I'm not going to use this sword. I don't want to do that. I just want to get out of this tower in one piece. That's all I want. So tell me how I can help you." And Maganag says, "Oh, good. Yes, you will help us. I cannot send my imps out of the tower because, well, they are imps. They will be seen. But you can be the one to help us. I want you to find me a magical hammer." He points at the crystal ball. There is a small crystal ball on the table. And the crystal ball is, as I said, it's shimmering slightly. Maganag points at it, and he says, "This is a portal to where we came from. If you find me a magical hammer, I will be able to smash this crystal ball to pieces, and the portal will be closed. That way, we will be free to keep living in this tower. We will stay here, we won't bother anyone. We'll just mind our own business, and no more demons will come through the portal. Do you agree?" Let's cast new votes. What do you do in response to this deal? Oh, and yeah, okay, so what's in it for me? It's right. I will add another description before the vote. I will say that he offers in return that you can just take the sword, whatever else you find in this tower that you seem to think is useful. You can just take whatever you want. Does he seem reliable? That's a good question. You can vote and maybe try to find that out through the option that you want to choose. B, where is Olora? Okay. Book count 1, where is Olora? You're trying to find out where Olora is. And you won't bother the town, how would you feed? Okay. Which vote is it? Which option is that from the list of votes, Sally? Alright, so let's tally the options. Oh, at the last second, Sally voted dagger. So we have one book and one dagger. You won't bother the town, how would you feed is actually honestly asking him a question. It would be palm, I think. I agree some of these options are more than one option. Try to focus on the one of the 4 options you actually want, because you have to cast a vote for your specific suggestion to take. If you make a specific suggestion and you just don't know which option it is, and you end up not voting, I'm probably just not going to choose your suggestion because it wasn't part of an actual vote. So we're going to go with Trina Boy's book vote, and Trina Boy wants to know where Olora is. Because you voted book, I'm going to let you actually use your senses. You have an awareness of 2. a pretty high awareness special skill. Plus this 6 skill, it means you can roll an 8 or below to try to look around and try to see if you notice any signs of where Olora is, instead of asking Maganag in the first place. So yeah, you roll a 6, which is 8 or below, which means that you do get a hint of where Olora is. There is a shape in the crystal ball. There is a shape of something that looks like a little shadow of a human. Now the crystal ball is like a few meters away from you. You only see the shape because there's some light from the fire, and it makes the it lights up the inside of the crystal ball, and there's something in it. There's something in the crystal ball that looks like a humanoid shape. It's something moving there, and that is the answer to your question of where Olora is. Let's cast a new vote. What do you do? Sally repeats the same one from before. I still want to ask him the same question about the deal. Tina Boy votes dagger. Cool. Trick the demon. Tell you how to reverse the spell that brought him here. Oh, nice. Okay. Let's reset. We have one vote palm, one vote dagger. So first of all, we'll go with the palm, with a question by Sally, and you ask, so how will you eat? How will you just live your life here? We don't need to eat food. We are demons from the pit. We don't need to have food to survive. All we need to do is to have our own spot and be able to play our games. We came from the pit at the behest of a powerful demon, but now we want to break free. We want to be free of the demon prince who sent us. If you break this crystal ball, you will sever the tie between this place and the pit, and our original place, our original home, and we will be free. If we're free, we won't have to mind the demon prince's wishes anymore. We won't have to do its bidding, and we'll be able to just stay here and not bother anyone. Isn't this what you do? Isn't this what you want us to do? And now we can also do Tina Boy's suggestion. We can also try to trick the demon to tell how to reverse the spell. Now, you can ask the demon, so how exactly did you make your way in the first place? How does this work exactly? And the demon says, oh, it was the wizard who lived here. She cast the spell that opened the portal. She wanted to snoop around, to look, and we snatched her through the portal that she opened. And he gestures towards the crystal ball again. Apparently the crystal ball is the way that she cast the spell. So the way they came through originally is through a spell that she cast that was supposed to be a scrying spell, just a spell to look through the crystal ball, but it misfired. It didn't work exactly the way she wanted, and it actually opened a portal. So it was Alora's spell that opened the portal originally. How to reverse it? Not sure. I don't know if Maganag knows how to reverse the spell at all. Maganag is not a wizard himself, but it was Alora's spell which did that. So maybe that could be a hint for you on what to do. Yeah, let's do a new poll. What do you do? Cool, so there's 2 votes again, and the votes are 1 book, 1 palm. I think I'm gonna go with book, and I'm gonna go with Tina Boy's suggestion, which I really like. Cast the Hear cantrip to try to listen to Olora. Unlike wizardly and sorceress spells, if you were an actual wizard or a sorcerer, which is 2 different kinds of magic that exist in this system, to cast cantrips, you don't need to do anything. You don't need to move your fingers, say arcane words, nothing like that. You just want to do the cantrip and do a small, like a tiny little gesture that others might not even recognize as casting a spell. All you need to do in this case is just focus your attention on the crystal ball. Just look at it. As long as it's in your field of vision, you'll be able to hear what's happening. So now let's cast a spell. The first time we cast a spell, let's explain how it works. It works off of your magic stat and your magic minor skill. So it's 2 plus 1 equals 3, but because casting cantrips is very, very easy, minor magic is very, very easy, you get a bonus of plus 6 to the roll. So you need to hit a 9 or below to cast one of your cantrips. It's actually very, very easy to cast a cantrip. It's going to be very hard for you to miss. And you rolled a 9 exactly, which is excellent. That means that you managed to cast the hear cantrip, and you can hear Olora from the crystal ball. Olora is an older woman, and she is currently trapped in the pit. She's right where the portal opens up in the pit, the portal that she mistakenly opened. And she's being held by demons who are forcing her to watch what is happening to her tower as some kind of mental torture. She seems to be in agony, but also still with all of her faculties intact. She's focused on the portal. She's trying to get at it. She's trying to break away from the two demons who are holding her. And behind her, there's like a shadow of something else, a larger, more impressive, and a more cool-looking demon. But you don't see any details from this other figure. It's just two demons about, human-sized demons, covered in spikes, that are holding Olora tight and preventing her from going into the portal and saving her home. And then you hear her talk, because you can hear what she's saying, and she says, she's actually, what you're hearing is words of a spell. She's trying to cast a spell. She's repeating the words again and again. She's repeating the words of the spell, and you can actually see that she's focusing on the book that's currently on the stand, the book stand. There's an open book, open on one specific page, and you can see that she's trying to do something with the book. But obviously she's been doing it for a while. It's not working. Her hands are held, pinned to the side of her body, and she, without being able to move her hands or getting closer or go through the portal, the spell is not going to work. What do you do? All right, one vote dagger from Trina Boy. Any more votes? Well, let's get our things then and go for the book. Okay, so Sally wants to use a more overt distraction, while Trina Boy wants to creep closer. So let's tally the votes. Dagger definitely wins. You're trying to creep closer to the book to see what it says. I think I'll go with Sally, and I'll say, all right, I'm just gonna gather the things that I want. You know, that's part of the deal. I'm supposed to be able to go through the tower and pick up things that I think are useful. So you just go towards the book stand. The book stand is quite close to where the crystal ball is. So Maganag walks with you, right next to you, and guards the crystal ball. Maganag is kind of suspicious of what you're trying to do, because you're walking towards where the general area where the crystal ball is, but you don't have a magical weapon or a hammer that's capable of shattering the crystal ball. So he's wondering what you're going to do. You walk closer, and now we will try to roll sneaking. We won't try, we will roll sneaking to see how well you hide your intentions while Maganag is very close. And yeah, you rolled a 5. You need to roll 7 or below, because sneaking is on 2 right now. So, yeah, you're just looking at the book right now. You're looking at the book. The book is open on a specific spell. The book is a book of spells of summoning and banishing. It's a book about summoning and banishing different beings from different parts of the magical planes of different parts of the universe, and you come upon a specific page, which is a book, which is a spell that is capable of bringing distant images back to where you are. It's a scrying spell. However, this spell also has a reverse version. If you cast it in reverse, you can cast it in order to create a barrier. The barrier is going to block any other creatures from reaching over to you through a scrying mechanism, right? So the spell can be cast in different ways, either to scry on someone distant or to block someone else from reaching you with summoning and scrying spells. What do you do? Have a new vote. Be casted in reverse. This is going to be a very difficult spell to cast. I'm not sure you're even capable of doing it because you do have only a magic score of 2. Okay, Sally, cast your vote. If you don't vote, you can do a Hail Mary and try to cast this spell because you do have a 2 in magic, so you can roll exactly 2 in 2d6. Sally, if you don't vote, your vote won't count. All right, let's tally the votes. Cool. So we have 1 book and 1 palm. Palm is wanting to help the demon. Don't want to banish the demon. I want to help the demon. Yeah. So you're gonna be. Okay. I don't think you voted recently, Sally, at all. You could vote probably before. Or anyway. I don't know. Maybe you tried and it didn't work. I don't know. Anyway, this time it did, and the palm vote did count. Now, yeah. So you can help the demon, and you tell the demon, yeah, you know, I can just do what you want me to do. Do you want me to try to shatter the crystal ball with Protector? Maybe it's a magical weapon that's capable of doing that. And Maganag looks at Protector, it looks at you. It seems very suspicious. Protector is obviously a specific weapon that he's afraid of. He's kind of worried about Protector. But because you're honestly offering to shatter the crystal ball, there's a chance he's gonna let you do that. So let's roll for convincing him to let you do that. Because you're being honest, you're not trying to con him. The con skill is not relevant. You're just rolling your regular skill. And you rolled a 2. That's excellent. 2 is like a critical success. And Maganag says, yes, take the sword and try to shatter the crystal ball. Let's see if that works. And you go over, you pick up the sword, and you walk back towards the desk with the crystal ball on it. Right next to the desk, there's the book. And what do you do now? Cast a new vote. Again, casting, that's an actual wizard spell. I don't know if you could cast it very easily because it's not a minor spell. It's an actual wizard spell. You need to roll 2 on your 2d6. Exactly 2. Right? Only like... oh, you mean we just rolled a 2? Okay, sorry. Yeah, I missed the meaning of what you... Yeah, we got the 2 now. You're right. I'm sorry. I missed the meaning of what you... Yeah. Okay. Cast your votes. What do you want to do? We're gonna actually do that after rummaging through the room. Palm. Okay, 1 vote for Palm. Smash the demon with Protector Fist. Okay, cool. So just pick up Protector and smash the demon into pieces. And there's also Palm, which means just going along with the deal we had up until now. So, okay, so one means trust the demon, go along with the deal. The other one is Fist, which is smash the demon with Protector. These are so far apart, these 2 suggestions. I don't know which one I want to choose. So I am going to roll for it. I'm going to roll a die. If the result is 1, 2, or 3, I'm going to go with the Fist suggestion. If it's 4, 5, or 6, we're going to go with Palm, with Sally's suggestion. All right, let's roll. 4. Okay, we're going with Palm. We're going with Sally's suggestion. So we're actually trusting the demon, and we're walking around the room. You walk around the room and you rummage. You try to find interesting, useful things. So there's a bunch of like potions there, and there's a bunch of boxes with interesting materials and components, and nothing seems like an actual like magic item. Nothing seems overtly magical, but there's all kinds of useful things that can be found there. And I'm just going to call that sack full of useful wizards knickknacks. All right, so that's going to be what you have right now. Just a sack full of useful knickknacks in jars, boxes, folded up scrolls, little tools and materials that you've collected. If you're, you want to find something useful for wizards later on, for whatever reason, you can look through your sack full of wizard knickknacks. You want to take the book? Oh, sure, take the book as well. Book of Summoning and Banishing. Let's capitalize it because it's an actual book. Cool. Yeah, you have the Book of Summoning and Banishing as well. That is a larger tome. You have to find room in your backpack for that. You have to actually like clear some room, like push some things aside and put the book in there. It takes most of the space in your backpack. It's a big tome, quite heavy. All right. Maganag looks at you suspiciously, but still, still thinking that you're going to uphold your end of the deal. Now we will decide what to do with another vote. Go ahead, cast your votes, please. Tell me what to do. Palm, I still want to help him. Palm, where is the hammer of crystal ball smiting? Okay, so you want to help him. So, yeah, you don't have a magical hammer with you, but you do have a weapon which you suspect might be magical. So what you do, you pick up Protector, you raise it up over your head. Maganag kind of flinches a little bit. Even being an overconfident demon, he is still scared of that one particular sword. But you then bring it down with the hilt of the sword, the pommel of the sword, right down on the crystal ball. Let's roll the dice and see what happens. You don't have a special skill, like smashing things. There's a skill called Strength, the Strength skill. It's like your brute strength, like breaking things, pushing doors open, stuff like that. You don't have that, so you're just going to roll your skill. It's just 6. I think because Protector is not meant to do this kind of thing, so you're not going to get a magical bonus on Protector. Let's roll. You rolled a 3. That's awesome. All right. As the pommel comes down, you can hear a scream from within the ball. It's Olora, the wizard, the nice town wizard who used to service all the nice town folk in her house in the ground floor, the reception hall. The sick and the poor, the ones who were who wanted help when nothing else could help them, and they came to the wizard, and she just helped them, often for a very, very low cost. She yells as she sees from her own perspective the pommel slowly growing larger and larger until it fills the entire surface of the portal opened right in front of her face. That portal that was held, tantalizingly held, open in front of her eyes for over 15 years while she was trying to break away from the demon's hold. And the last thing she sees is the pommel hitting the portal, and the portal smashes apart into pieces, just like the crystal ball on the desk. It is in glass shards. Maganag yells, "Yes, I am free!" as the demon prince back in the pit yells, "No!" as he loses hold of his lieutenant, Maganag, who's now in Oriad, in the city, free to roam the tower and live in it live out his days, however long he wants, as you have just gotten everything you want. A sack full of useful knickknacks from the wizard's lab, 2 useful books, one about monster and animal parts, one about summoning and banishing, an actual spell book, a wizard spell book. And you got a longsword, which seems to be magical. You don't have any skill with swords yet. You can learn to use swords later if you invest some XP in it. And and you have all this loot coming out of the tower. I hope you will become my ally and friend, you say to Maganag. And Maganag says, why not? You are welcome to come into the tower whenever you want. I am not going to venture out of this place. The city, the folk in this city are not used to having demons roam on the streets among them. They will be scared and they will banish us or destroy us in some way. Now leave me and my remaining imps to be here in peace. And yeah, that's how you end this episode of Tarren's Adventures. You can have a goal. I will decide if at a later point I want to make this goal into an adventure. Every week I'm going to present a new adventure to you, so it's not always going to be your choice at all. The Monster Animals Parts book, the Book of Entrails. Yeah, sure. The Book of Entrails. I love it. Cool. I love it. It's the Book of Entrails. Yeah, so it definitely entries, the Book of Entries. Entries is more like a journal, isn't it? A journal has entries. Let's call it the Book of Entering. Maybe it's the Book of Entering, because you summon things, you know? You enter, you make a portal and you enter through the portal. And so you enter. Oh, yeah, so entering. Book of Entering. Cool, nice, very nice. So that's the book. Yeah, that was the first adventure in Tarren's Adventures. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. We're gonna be here every Saturday from now on, 9 Israel time, which is 8 in most of Europe, 7 p.m. in the UK, and 2 p.m. Eastern time, and apparently 2 a.m. in Taiwan, which I just learned today. So if you're in either one of these countries, you know, yeah, you know exactly how late it's going to go for you. Most adventures are going to be about an hour and a half to 2 hours long, so this was about as long as it can take. And every week is going to be a new adventure, so you're welcome to come, cast your votes, and decide what Tarren Hall does next in Tarren's Adventures. My name is Itamar. This is Figment RP. You are the audience. Oh, wait. I'm doing the outro already, but it didn't give you any XP. You get XP. You get XP. Blah, blah, blah. Experience. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that. There's experience. Yeah, so you get... Yeah, it is a campaign. It is a campaign. So you get experience at the end of every adventure, but it's an ongoing campaign, but every week is going to be, for now at least, it's going to be a new adventure. Every week is going to be a small adventure. Later on, I might experiment with longer arcs if we have enough people coming in every week, because I want everyone to be able to join every week if they want to. Like week in, week out. They can come every other week if somebody is not always free. But let's do experience. You get 20 experience points. Yeah. You get 20 experience points. Yeah, so now you tell me what you want to get better at, and I will tell you how much it's going to cost in experience. So let's have the last vote for today. And that vote is going to be what kind of direction you're taking with your experience. So again, you have the same four options, right? Book, dagger, fist, and palm, and you can vote one of these. Protector wielding, right? Becoming a better fighter, a better sword fighter. You can become a sword fighter. That could be an option. So cast your votes. I think wielding, becoming a better fighter is fist. It's definitely the fist, the direct approach, right? It's being a fighter. Okay, so one vote fist, one vote book to becoming better at magic. Both of these are so cool. I really like both of these votes. And I mean, soon enough, both of these are going to happen. Definitely both of these are going to happen. Let me just refresh a little bit, do a little refresher about how much is going to be to get more magic. You actually want to be better at magic. A new special skill is 20 experience points. Oh, exactly 20 experience points. Okay, so a new special skill. So if you learn wizard magic, you can do half and half, but at this point, we're not going to do half and half, because learning a new special skill is both of what you voted. Is learning a new special skill, either a skill with swords, like you have a brawling and thrown weapon skill right now, so you can have a skill with swords, and that's going to cost you 20 experience points to get a one value in your new sword skill, or you can get a new wizardly magic skill. Like you have a minor magic skill, you can get a wizardly magic skill, which is going to start at 1, which is quite low, but again, you can increase it later on. You can also increase your magic stat, which is also another way to do that, but increasing your magic stat is going to be 40. Oh, to 3 is going to be 45 experience points. Increasing from 2 to 3 is going to be 45 experience points, increasing your magic. So diplomacy options is also good, yeah, but that's going to be later. Diplomacy abilities, like being, like cooperating, convincing people, that's a whole other skill. You can increase that skill as well. Magic lore is what I like most, but it makes sense to learn wizardry. Oh, magic lore is what you wanted. Magic lore is another option. Yeah, you can have magic lore. Okay, so I'm gonna go with magic lore for this one. We're not gonna learn to use swords yet. Magic lore 1. We're learning to be a little bit better at recognizing magical things, and we're back down to 0 experience. That's an option, increasing magic to 3, advancing magic. I mean, things are gonna get more and more expensive anyway. So at some point, if you want to improve, like become an actual magician, actual wizard, you're gonna have to increase your magic sooner or later. But not yet, not right now. You are still just a fledgling beginning magician, and yeah, you will get better at these things soon enough. And this is it for today. So you have all these options to advance. You have options to become better at different areas. Yeah, I mean that's the rub, right? You have to choose. You want to learn wizardry, but also you want to be a better diplomat. Both of these are going to cost points. They're all going to cost points. All right, cool. So thank you very much again for this as well, for helping me advance Tarren Hall and make him a better adventurer. Next week we're going to come back with a new adventure. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Trina Boy. Thank you, the other people who dropped in, Matt and Sister Behave. It was very cool to see you drop by for a second. Go to sleep, Trina Boy, or not. Maybe it's still early evening for you. And until Monday for Questers of Yelpalore, or next Saturday for another episode of Tarren's Adventures, stay safe, play hard, and wear a mask. And we'll see you next time. Good night, everyone. Bye.